Hey house guests, welcome to today's Big Brother 21 updates and spoilers. Our house guest of the day is Hannah Stewart. Hannah, happy 17th birthday. I am so excited for you. I feel like it was just yesterday that we were wishing you a happy 13th birthday. So, I'm gonna get emotional. I'm really glad that you're a part of this community, so I really hope you enjoy your day. And if you guys want to be house guest of the day, like the birthday girl, Hannah, check out our Patreon link in the info box below. All right, so it's eviction eve. But first, when we left off yesterday, it seemed like it was the calm before the storm, aka it was boring. It seemed like Jackson still had the votes locked up to stay, and Jack was just trying to come up with his campaign strategy. Didn't seem like he was coming up with anything good, right? And you know, that's not to say that he did now, but I think he has at least come up with something that's gonna bring drama. You know, it may not work to get him to stay, but it's definitely going to be crazy if he actually does what he says he's gonna do. So that's coming up today. All right, so Jack and Nick are talking in the boat lounge, and Jack is trying to come up with some sort of deal that he can offer to Nicole, because as we know, he's already planning on offering he's offering a deal to Cliff for 3 to 4 weeks of safety. Imagine there was someone named Deal in the house. So Jack is like, okay, I can't hand out too much safety because people are going to compare notes and they're going to be like, whoa, it's not possible that all these people could be safe for this many weeks. So he says, I do have a certain amount that I can dish out to Nicole, and I do want to protect her. Oh, you have a certain amount that you can just dish out like that? This guy. So Nick is like, yeah, of course we want to protect her to a certain point. He's saying until we get out like Kat, Jess, Holly, Cliff, and then it might be time to get rid of Nicole. So Jack is like, what do you think is the right number for me to offer to Nicole so that it's enticing enough for her to want to keep me, but it's still like realistic? So Nick is like, I don't know, three weeks. So yeah, this is gonna come up again, but I just have a question. Why was Nick playing with his nipples during this conversation? It was making me really uncomfortable to watch. Why? Okay, so Jack also talks to Tommy about his plan, and Tommy thinks the 3-week deal is a great offer for Nicole. So Jack is curious what Holly and Jackson are potentially offering to Nicole. I don't think they've really defined anything like that, because Jackson and Holly are not like running the show on the other side the way that you assume they are. Honestly, I feel like Jackson and Holly are just kind of like tack-ons for Cliff's Angels. Like, Cliff's Angels are in charge right now, and Holly and Jackson are just like, take us in, you know what I mean? Like, they're not running the show over there. So anyway, Tommy says that he still thinks that Jack needs to get Cliff and Nicole's votes, and then he can get Jess on board and she'll convince Kat. So he's trying to make this a house vote. Yeah, keep dreaming. I don't see that happening. No freaking way. So Jack is then saying if there's a battle back, he's gonna be coming back. But I feel like I don't want a battle back at this point. But then again, if one of my faves was evicted, maybe I would want a battle back. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know that they're doing that this season. So anyway, back to the campaign. Now Jack is saying he's thinking about throwing Holly and Kat under the bus. You know, they can tell Cliff that Holly wanted him out. Didn't everybody? I mean, they voted him out. Let's not forget that. So they're also talking about how Kat is playing both sides, and that really pisses them off. So Jack is saying he would like to blow up her game in his eviction speech. He says she will be the reason why I go this week because of her constant lying. She does know Holly. I don't think that's why you're going, but okay. So Tommy brings up that Kat also knew about that flipped vote when Cliff was evicted, and they decided to save Nicole. So he's like, if we drop that info, that might piss Jess off, because she's been talking a lot this week about how she's felt really left out, and that's not cool. So if we give her that info that her like BFF didn't tell her about that vote, she's not gonna be happy about it. But I guess, why would that make her want to keep Jack? I guess what they're getting at is like, let's split up Kat, Jackson, and Holly because they're a trio. All right, so Tommy's just like, oh, it's really messed up what Kat is doing. But it's funny because they told Kat to be a mole for them and to like get in with the other side, and then you really expect her to not start working with that other side when you treat her like crap and leave her out of everything? Wouldn't you do the same? So then Christy joins them, and Jack says, at this point, it's still looking like he's gonna be going. It's leaning that way. So Jack says that Kat is running the house right now. And Jack also does not feel good about Cliff, because Cliff supported Jackson and woke up with him every time he got called for his punishment the night before. So he's like, wow, Cliff is really close to Jackson now. So Tommy says, well, you need to let Jess know that Kat was a mole for the first half of the game. She was on our side. And Christy says that Jess also has to know about how, again, Kat knew about the Cliff and Nicole vote. That's gonna be their big money item, whatever, big ticket item here, of information. And they're also thinking, okay, we can tell the other side that Holly wanted Christy to use her power this week to put up Cliff and try and keep the six together. I don't think they're gonna care about that. I think they see that Jack is a threat no matter what. They're gonna wanna take him out, and the game changes after he's gone. So I don't think they're gonna worry about that information a lot. I don't know, what do you guys think? So Tommy is telling Jack, don't feel bad about campaigning this week because the other side is playing dirty too. And you're not. All right, so then Tommy's like, you can go to Jess and tell her, I know some things about the people that you're working with that might change the way you look at them. And I can tell you those things if you want, and if not, that's fine. Who would say no? Oh my god. So this is gonna evolve as the day goes on. You guys will see. But Nick comes in, and Jack and Christy say that they both have information about the other side that they don't want to blow up, but they will if they have to. So Jack says that he hates that the other side is acting like they're not working together, because Jess, Kat, and Nicole are all denying that they have an alliance, and he says, I hate when people aren't forward about things. How long did you deny the 9, the 8, the 6? I mean, really, it's just, this game breeds hypocrisy. It's so frustrating to watch, but it's just part of the game, right? So Jack says that his targets moving forward would be Holly and Kat, and he keeps saying that if he were to stay and win HOH, he would put both of them up, and his speech would just be like, you guys know each other. That's it. Okay, so let's check in with Kat and Holly. They were chatting in the storage room, and Kat says, don't worry, Jackson's still good with the votes, but she had an idea that she wants to run by Holly. So she's like, what if you act like you're still working with your old group, you know, and then you keep me safe with them, I'll keep you safe with this side, and it'll be great. You know, we'll keep each other safe on all sides of the house. I feel like it's kind of past the point of no return for Holly to go back to the other side. There's no way. And then she would just be pissing off the new people that she's working with. So I think it's a bad move. Holly seems to agree. She's like, I don't know, I think it might be too risky to play both sides like that. And she says she also wants to play with people that she respects. She says she would love to be at the end with, obviously, Kat, Jess, and Nicole. They're not really sure when they would want Jackson to go, they kind of backtrack a little bit and they say like, oh, it would be okay if he was there because they feel like nobody would vote for him anyway. And they're saying that they want Tommy and Christy out next. Ow. All right. So back to Jack and his campaign strategists, Tommy and Nick. So Jack is basically planning on blackmailing Kat. This plan has evolved, and Tommy is really like the engineer of this plan. So Jack is going to go to Kat first and I guess like casually drop all of this intel that he has on her, just so that she knows that he has it and it's on his mind. So Tommy's telling Jack, you gotta make sure that Kat feels good, you gotta make sure that she doesn't feel threatened, and try and turn her against Holly and Jackson. Tell her how they didn't want anyone giving her too much information because they weren't sure if they could trust her and blah, blah, blah. And Tommy's like, I don't know, maybe that was just a ploy the whole time because they wanted to hide their trio, but we may as well try it anyway. So Jack is also supposed to apologize for what happened on day 44 with the whole lead up to the vote flip that didn't happen. And he's gonna say like, oh, I wanna work with you, I wanna be a shield for you. Blech. And he thinks there's a good chance that that could work. However, if it doesn't, if Kat doesn't start making moves to keep him, oh, I just want to emphasize too, he thinks that this is gonna make Kat do the work for him and flip the vote so that he stays. So then he's saying, okay, if that doesn't work, if she's not going and talking to people and trying to convince them to keep me, I'm gonna talk to her again. And I'm gonna tell her that I'm gonna air out all of her dirty laundry unless she can figure something out to keep him. Wow, yeah, that doesn't sound threatening at all. So if she doesn't bite after that, he's gonna go to Jess and tell her that Kat was a mole and she knew about the Cliff and Nicole vote and she didn't vote with them that week because she wanted to be able to continue to be a mole. They told her to do that. Okay, so that is Jack's plan at this point. And like I said, Tommy was the one who pretty much came up with this, but Jack and Nick were both fleshing it out a bit. I don't understand Nick. He does want Jack to stay now? I guess if he had to pick, he would prefer Jack to stay because he has more of a relationship with Jack than with Jackson. But he sees that the votes are not there for Jack, so he's saying he's gonna vote Jack out, but then he's also like trying to come up with this plan that he thinks could work. I mean, I guess he's like, okay, well, if Jack gets voted out, at least I'll still get his jury vote, right? Like he'll know that I wanted him to stay. I don't know, it's like really freaking weird. It's really making the other side nervous too, because Nick is always with Jack and with Sis and with Tommy, so it's freaking them out a bit. And honestly, like, I wouldn't mind seeing Nick leave sooner rather than later, because his game is really frustrating, but also he's just like straight up gross. Later, Nick was in the boat lounge with Sis, Jack, and Christy, and a lot of people online are calling him, I think they're calling him No Boundaries Nick, which really is a great and suitable nickname for him because he's gross and he's like all over people. He's asking people inappropriate questions. So he's in the boat lounge with Sis, Jack, and Christy, and Sis and Jack are talking about a sex fort that they want to make. That's a whole other thing. They're like, oh yeah, we're gonna lie on the floor and we're gonna drape this blanket across 2 beds so that it's all covered. We'll have more headroom. This house needs to be burned down after the season or like freaking sanitized. I don't even know. So Nick asks if he can watch them. And at first it sounded like he was joking, but then he's like, no, seriously, like, can I watch you guys? And Sis is actually actually considering it. She's like, maybe. What the frig? So then Nick starts asking her a bunch of gross, inappropriate questions. He talks about Jack's monster dick. What the F? This cast is so nasty. I can't even take it. So then the feeds cut to Holly and Jackson. And like, usually I'm thinking, oh man, the feeds just cut to somewhere else, like during a good conversation. But like, this is one of the few times where I was like, please cut the feeds, please, I don't want to see this. And I never thought I would be so happy to listen to Holly and Jackson. And they were having a game chat, so, woo! Okay, so they're planning on targeting Christy, Tommy, Sis, and Nick moving forward in no particular order. So it sounds like they really do want to work with Cliff's Angels, and they don't want to work with their old group anymore, except Holly still wants to be good with Sis. She can go. Like, Sis is such like a non-factor in this game. Unfortunately though, I could totally see her sticking around because people don't think she's a threat, and then she'll win like some immunity, HOH, not immunity, some endurance HOH, and it's gonna be really annoying. So maybe they should just get rid of her soon. I don't know. Anyway, Jackson's punishment ended a little while later, so he doesn't have to get slimed anymore. And after the punishment was over, what do you know? There was a fresh watermelon delivery. Why does he get this preferential treatment? Oh my god! Okay, so let's talk about Sis and Nick game chat. He must be so excited for Jack to potentially be evicted, so he'll have Sis all to himself. But then again, now with this new development about him wanting to watch Jack and Sis do it, maybe he wants Jack to stick around. I don't know, it's like live porn for him. So Sis is asking Nick, do you think Jack will stay? And Nick says, I didn't think he had a chance before, but this new plan could actually work. I don't think so. So Sis is asking, well, what should we do if Jack stays? Should we keep working with Christy? We've been hearing all week that Sis wants to dump Christy. She doesn't want to work with her anymore. She doesn't trust her. So Nick says, well, Christy will probably be on our side because she knows that she's not good with the other side anymore. So the chances of her wandering over there are less likely. And Sis is like, okay, but I'm worried about Christy's mouth. You know, she has a tendency to talk, and she doesn't feel comfortable with that. So Nick says, well, if Jack does stay, then we can probably get rid of Christy because we won't need her as much anymore for a number. But if Jack goes, we're probably gonna need to keep her. You know, we're gonna need those numbers. We're gonna need as many people on our side as we can get. And she's also good to keep around because Holly and Jackson will want to target her. So she's gonna be like a shield in front of us. They also remember, oh wait, we don't want Christy to go next because they want Kat out next. She is their target at this point. So then Nick reveals that his ideal final five, if Jack goes, is himself, Sis. Imagine he wasn't in his own final five. Himself, Sis, Tommy, Nicole, and Holly. Well, that would be bleak. Okay, so then Jack comes in and they are discussing the order that they want to evict people. So he's agreeing, yes, I want Kat to go next week. Then Holly, Jess, Nicole, Cliff. So he's talking like he still wants Christy around, unless I missed something. He also left himself off the list because I'm pretty sure Jack is going. But anyway, Nick says that he would rather keep Jack around than Jackson. You know, this whole time he's been saying that he wants Jack out, but now he's realizing he fully trusts him, he knows that he's loyal, and he knows where his head is. He has a closer relationship with Jack than Jackson. I really hope he's just blowing smoke at this point, but who knows with Nick, because we've seen him make some really boneheaded moves before. And Nick is then telling Jack, you know, final four, I want the three of us and Tommy. That's even worse. This one doesn't even include Nicole. So speaking of Nicole, she was really emotional last night. She was missing her family, missing her life back home. She was talking about how her preschool kids are gonna be graduating, super cute. And Jack saw her crying on the hammock, so he went over there. He was lying down with her for a while, not in a gross way. And he was just kind of, you know, being there for her, cheering her up. They were just chatting about whatever. There was no actual campaigning there. I kept waiting for it and then it didn't happen, so it was refreshing. It was very kind of him to do that because he was out there for quite a while with her, but at the same time, I hate to be cynical, but would he have done that if he wasn't on the block? I keep thinking back, a lot of people on Twitter were talking about this too. I keep thinking back to the beginning of the season when Jack was saying like, oh, this is so cool because someone like Nicole probably wouldn't like ever get a chance to hang out with someone like me in the real world. Yeah, okay. So anyway, the rest of the night, just a few quick things from the rest of the night. Tommy was talking to Holly and he was telling her he wants to vote with the house. Of course he does. I don't see how that would actually make that much of a difference though, because he is definitely on people's radars, and at this point I feel like you should just stick with your people, because I don't see them being like, oh, Tommy voted with us so at the last minute, so let's just spare him for another week. I don't think so. So anyway, then Jackson comes in and Tommy is telling him, no matter what happens, I'm gonna be loyal to you if you're here. So he's saying like, Jack is my boy, so I have to have his back this week, but like that doesn't mean that I wouldn't want to still work with you if you were to stay. So he says 5 out of the 6 are still gonna be here, so like maybe we should consider getting back together or something, I don't know. But Jackson's like, no, I don't like the way that things got personal. He says some people, Christy, were calling him a liar and a snake, and he did not appreciate that. I think the term was actually a sun-nake. But yeah, he didn't like that. He doesn't like attacks on his character like that. So, I mean, those are like game-related things though, but okay. So they promise though they're not gonna put each other up, because Jackson actually plans on nominating Christy and Sis, but he does not share that with Tommy. So then all throughout the night, Jackson keeps saying he's not going to campaign against Jack. He made a promise at the very beginning of the season, blah blah blah. Would he still feel that way though if he didn't have the votes? All right. Meanwhile, Jack is feeling really good about his blackmail plan. He's planning on kicking this thing off Wednesday. You know, he wants to save it until Wednesday, today, and he thinks the cat is gonna freak out and start convincing people that he has to stay because she's not gonna want this information to come out. I don't think so. I mean, there's no guarantee that Kat is even gonna like hear him out on this, and the second she feels like he's threatening to blackmail her like that, I just see her going to her allies and telling them the information, and then they're gonna be angry at him too, and they're just gonna want him out more. I don't see this working. I mean, you never know, it could, but I don't think it's gonna work. So today, we're expecting the fireworks, right? But no, Jack has decided he is pushing his blackmail plan off until Thursday morning because he wants to leave as little time as possible for Jackson to swoop in there and change the vote back. But I don't think it's gonna change in the first place. Okay, so yeah, he's gonna wait on that. He's gonna do some general campaigning today though. General campaigning. Do you guys watch How I Met Your Mother? I missed that. All right, so anyway, Jackson asks Jack if they can hash things out in the boat lounge, and Jack accepts. So Jackson says, I just want to clear some things up before one of us leaves and before we, you know, go down the campaign trail, because he knows things are going to be fast and furious. It's eviction eve. So Jackson asks him, where was your head at like when you decided that you were gonna burn me and tell people what I told you about Holly and Kat, because you blew up both of our games, you blew up the 6. What were you thinking? I'm curious. So Jack says it was based solely on splitting up Kat and Holly because they knew each other and he didn't want to keep that trio around. He didn't want that trio in the jury. So Jackson's like, okay, but like I told you about that on like day 2 or 3, so why was it like a big thing that day? And again, Jack is like, it was different because the first time he told him about it, he was just assuming that they knew each other, and this time he was saying it like, yes, they know each other. So Jackson is still claiming that he was just assuming. He says there were no other conversations between me and Holly or me and Kat about them knowing each other. Yes, there were. Ah! So Jackson is telling Jack, again, I'm not gonna campaign against you. I made a promise, I'm gonna stick to it. But Jack admits he will be campaigning, but he's not going to bury Jackson in the process. So Jackson's like, all right, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it with you. You made a really effing stupid move. Everything is flipped now. Everything is different. Cliff, Jess, and Nicole have the majority. You know, we were on top and now one of us is gonna be going. So they agree, you know, all that aside, there's still gonna be boys after this, so don't worry. They're still gonna go to Vegas together, and they're still gonna root for whichever one stays. Yada, yada, yada. Boys, bros, bras. Okay, so after that, Jack and Jackson are both making their rounds. I thought Jackson said he wasn't gonna campaign. I guess what he meant was, I'm not gonna campaign against you. Like, he's saying things about himself to people, like, I'm not coming after you, I wanna work with you, blah, blah, blah. But he's not saying, like, Jack should go because he sucks. So, yeah, they're both going around, but it's nothing groundbreaking. It's just like Jack was planning for today, general campaigning. And he said, they're saying, like, you're not my target, all that good stuff. So yeah, I guess things are gonna be hectic tomorrow morning if Jack does end up going through with his blackmail plan. Should be exciting. Again, I don't think it's gonna work, but it should at least stir things up and we'll get some sort of excitement on the feeds. So tomorrow is eviction day. As of right now, Jack is still leaving. That's where we're at. So let me know what you guys have in the comments. What you have? What is going on? Oh my god, I need a decongestant. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. And until tomorrow, much love.